Today, I'd like to share my 30-minute daily routine for The Elder Scrolls Online that keeps me flush with crafting materials, puts gold in the bank, and ensures I can always fund my next home design. Welcome back, citizens of Tamriel. I'm Cal, and today I wanted to do something a little bit different. I was thinking about doing sort of a daily routine video, but specifically I wanted to cover the things that I try and do every day to keep my account relatively wealthy in-game. I know there are a lot of players out there with far more gold than I have, but it's also a common question that comes up on the forums, Reddit, and in-game. How do you actually earn any substantial amount of gold in The Elder Scrolls Online? So I've actually spent this week tracking my daily routine, and those activities typically include daily writs on a couple characters, a couple of daily quests, and then I also farm a couple of public dungeons for collectible fragments. And what I found was actually pretty surprising. This week, that short routine brought in about 100,000 gold every day. I wanted to actually talk about the numbers behind it and why I prioritize the activities that I do to keep me flush with cash in the game. Now, I know some of the market moguls out there don't need me to tell you to do your daily writs. You're already doing them. You're probably doing them on more characters than me. But given the frequency with which this question is asked both online and in-game, I thought it was worth sharing some of the details of my daily routine that help keep me from running out of cash. All right, so like I said, I tracked my daily routine for a week and made note of any rewards that were of significant value. It surprised me because that short daily routine was bringing in well over 100,000 gold per day. In fact, on the 28th, it was almost 200,000 gold. Now that included daily writs on 2 characters, grabbing my Dragonhold supply cache each day, 2 daily quests in the West Weald, and farming public dungeon fragments into public dungeons. And you can see here that only about 20,000 of that total value per day was in raw gold. So the rest of it is materials that you will have to sell on guild traders in order to turn them into gold. But anything that's crossed out in this spreadsheet is something that's already sold. And some of these items that haven't been crossed out, it's because I'm not selling them. I am replenishing my personal stockpile. So depending on what your needs are, you might be able to convert more of this into gold more quickly, or you might want to hold on to more of it for yourself. But at the same time, if you're collecting gold upgrade materials and you need them, well, maybe you just saved yourself 6,000 gold. And the reason that I am focusing on the West Weald here is because being the most recent zone, it has the greatest chance to reward rare recipes and motifs that are still in high demand. We're going to see that shift a little bit when Seasons of the Worm Cult drops and there's new dailies in Solstice. Some older zones' daily quests have held their value better than others because the items that they reward are still in higher demand, or maybe less of the player base has access to the zone, or the daily quests are just more of a chore to complete. And then for anyone who's unaware, the public dungeon fragments have an increased drop rate up until you get your first drop of the day in each public dungeon. So this Remnant of Cruelty and the Remnant of Deception have increased drop rates until you get your first one of the day. So I don't want to spend too much time in the spreadsheet, but let's jump in game and I'm going to go ahead and just run you through my daily routine. Let's get started. So for Luminous Ink, right off the bat, that's worth some money. Let's go ahead and knock out the daily writs on this character, and I have turned off auto add to the craft bag so that it's a little bit easier to see what is being generated from these. These are going to be more valuable on a character that has sort of maxed out their crafting skills because you're going to get more upgrade materials, you're going to have a greater chance at master writs, and you're going to have a greater chance at surveys. But I have still found them to basically be valuable on any character. When you're still leveling up, they help you level up, but you still have chances to get some of those rare materials. I think they're still worth doing, but I just don't like doing them on more than a couple characters because they're boring. But that's kind of the case with anything in an MMO, right? The most boring activities are how you generate gold because you're doing something that other players may not want to do, and then you can sell them the rewards. So again, here in Skingrad, these only take a couple minutes with add-ons. I'm real excited for any console players out there to finally get access to add-ons, of course. I don't know if Lazy Writs is one of the ones that's coming, but hopefully it is because it makes this much less painful to do your daily writs. Okay, so with the writs done, I got 2 chromium plating out of that. I would probably list those at 12,500 to 13,000 right now, but all of these prices are obviously PCNA. Your mileage may vary. Prices are gonna be a little bit different server to server. Things change over time. But yeah, so those daily writs, in addition to the 5,000 gold they just put in my pocket, 2 chromium plating, that's a quick 25,000 gold. In addition to that, a rosin, another 1,000 gold. The luminous ink from the daily rewards, that's worth about, 350 a piece, so 1,400-ish total. My math is off. And then did we get any surveys or sealed writs? We did get a sealed woodworking writ. Right now, that looks like it's worth about 3,000 gold. And I do have an add-on video on my channel that talks about the add-ons that I use to do daily writs. And then the 2 that I am using to get these sort of market values are TTC and show TTC price. All right, let's go ahead and pick up those daily quests. So that is the daily mosaic, and this is the daily delve. And let's see here, where is the mosaic currently up? Down here in the southeast, and hopefully we'll get lucky and this will be already in the final stage. Sometimes this takes a little bit longer just because you've got to kill the side bosses first. It looks like all 3 side bosses are up. That's annoying, but that's fine. So I'm gonna do a little bit of work off screen here and be right back with you. All right, I think we're just about done here. Got about a half dozen players here now with their companions, but I think this is his final stage. Now, I'm not sure if these are actually soloable. I've never had to solo one. Someone always shows up to help out before it's done. All right, so I'm gonna grab this loot and then we will head on to the Delve Daily. Now, one other thing that I didn't include in my tracking was stuff like this. So as I'm running to the Delve, Ancestor Silk right here, I'm gonna go ahead and loot that. So anything like that, I didn't include in my tally, but I mean, that was several hundred gold worth of raw materials. So another thing to keep in mind while you're knocking out your daily quests, loot stuff, open those treasure chests, grab any heavy sacks you see. And while I was completing that Mirmore mosaic, I actually completed 2 of the daily endeavors, killed 2 dangerous foes, and used ultimate abilities twice. I do make sure to always get my endeavors done. Obviously, it's not important necessarily for gold generation, but it is a great way to unlock cosmetics. It's the only way that you can earn Seals of Endeavor, which you can use to buy stuff that would normally only be found in crown crates. So always make sure to get your daily endeavors and weekly endeavors done. Okay, and after I grab this, I'm actually gonna go back to town to turn these 2 quests in, and we can evaluate the rewards real quick before we head off to the public dungeons. Pro tip here, make sure you get those inn rooms unlocked because now we've got free travel back to Skingrad. All right, let's turn in these quests real quick and I'll show you what we got. Okay, so a mosaic skill shred, like I said, not worth a ton, 250 gold or so. This companion's gauntlets looks like it's going for about 1,000 gold. We might get that. Well, let's see what is in the reward coffers. So in this first one, just that script. So that's worth 1,000 gold. And then if we open the other one, oh, there we go. Westweald Legion Shoulders, going for about 12,000 gold right now. So that daily quest was worth about 12,000 gold, in addition to the gold that we generated while we were out there completing it. Next up, let's head out to those public dungeons. All right, here we are at Cylorn. Now, this is the one where I've been getting my fragment in the first pull or 2. Hopefully my luck holds today, because that will speed this whole process up a little bit. All right, there it is, Remnant of Deception. So we are done here in Cylorn. So let's head out. We are gonna go over here to Leftwheel next, but I don't wanna pay that recall cost. So I'm gonna use a free trip back to Skingrad and then pop out of the inn room to use the way shrine right there in town. All right, and here we are coming up on Leftwheel. Now, unfortunately, this one has been taking a little bit longer to get that drop, but hopefully it doesn't take too long. It's supposed to be pretty quick, but sometimes you just get unlucky. And there it is. So 9,000 gold in that Remnant of Cruelty right there. If I didn't need to use it myself, I've got a couple more to go. There you can see all the stuff that we looted, another 1,000 gold or so in raw gold drops. But the Remnant of Deception, I'll be selling that one for 3,000 gold. Remnant of Cruelty, I'm gonna go ahead and use because I need a couple more. Nothing else really of significant value there, but we're all done with the public dungeons. So I'm actually going to head back to town and then head to Dragonhold to grab my Dragonhold supply chest and then swap to my second character to do daily writs on him. This is the Dragonguard Sanctum in Southern Elsewhere, and this is where that Dragonhold supply chest is. Claim this once per day per account after you've done 30 quests for Dirge Trupter there. All right, so Anstone Shard, Dragon Blood, that's pretty valuable. The Dragon, is it Rum? I don't know how to pronounce that word. 2,000 apiece. So a decent day. It looks like those Central Defender's Gauntlets might also be worth a little bit. Not as good as a couple of days ago, but still a pretty valuable haul. I'm gonna tally this all up later, but let's go ahead and swap characters real quick. All right, here we are back in Skin Grand for another round of daily writs. Now, most days after I complete this daily routine, I've got something better to do, whether that is 4-player dungeons, 12-player trials, infinite archive, maybe I'm working on a new house. Sometimes it's just working on a video, but if I have spare time, I will absolutely do more daily writs on more characters. Because again, this is probably the fastest gold per minute you can generate in ESO, especially if your character is maxed out. There are things you can do to increase your odds of getting the good stuff. That is, of course, leveling up those craft skills, learning more recipes, and obviously unlocking all of the different reagents and runes for enchanting. On a new character, they're not as valuable, but they are still, in my opinion, worth doing. And we'll check out what we get here in a second. So that's it. That's the end of the daily routine. I'm gonna check the time. 31 minutes today to knock that all out. And we got a little bit unlucky with the mosaic. That took a little bit longer than it usually does because it was a totally fresh mosaic and had to do all the side bosses. All right, so today doesn't look like he got anything very good. Zircon plating, that's worth about 3,500 gold or so. This blacksmith survey will generate a little bit of cash. Yeah, you can sell the rubidite ore for about 32 gold a piece, and it's gonna generate somewhere between 150 and 180 on average. It's like 4,000 to 5,000 gold. Worth of materials from that survey, but it doesn't look like I got any master writs or any gold upgrade mats. So just an unlucky day for him, but another 5,075 in raw gold. All right, so when it was all said and done, in 31 minutes, generated about 82,000 gold worth of raw gold and materials to sell. A little bit lower than what I was averaging this week. Again, did really good yesterday, had some good luck on those daily writs, and then of course the daily login reward was extra good. But almost 17,000 in raw gold today. Chromium platings from that first round of daily writs are worth about 25k, so got another Westweald Legion motif. Pretty solid value there as well, but no luck on that second round of daily writs. Definitely the worst performance out of daily writs for the week. There was some zircon plating, and then there were actually a couple of Kuda in the hireling mail. So yeah, that's it. That's my daily routine. It takes me about 30 minutes a day. Generates on average somewhere around 100 to 120,000 gold per day. Some of that's going to depend on your luck. And then of course, if you've got spare time, you can always do more daily writs. All right, everyone. That basically covers my daily routine for the Elder Scrolls Online. I do hope that this is helpful to some of the new players out there or anyone who's struggling to establish a steady income in ESO. And like I mentioned throughout the video, I think daily writs are going to be the best return on your time spent, but I do think that completing daily quests and farming those public dungeons in the latest zone are pretty beneficial as well. Don't forget to complete your daily endeavors, of course, and when there's a golden pursuit, I always try and prioritize that as well. But I'd also be curious to hear from any other ESO vets out there if there's anything else that you include in your daily routine in the Elder Scrolls Online. Let me know in the comments below. And if you enjoyed this video, be sure to like and subscribe for more ESO content. Thank you all for watching. I'll see you for the next one. Bye for now, everybody.